Wow, 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 wow. What's going on, fight fans and full-time family? I'm sure most of you are aware by now that UFC 249 Ferguson vs. Gaethje has been postponed, as well as the next few weeks of fights that were supposed to take place at Tachi Palace. Dana White and the UFC thought that they could potentially skirt the coronavirus pandemic, and I guess skirt's probably not the right word. They thought that they could go around the 50 states that were not allowing them to fight by going to sovereign territory on an Indian reservation. And unfortunately, the location leaked, and that gave enough powerful people, I will say, I believe it was the governor of California, who called Disney. They called and snitched on Dana like, hey, we told this motherfucker he can't fight in California, and he thinks it's cool to come fight at the Tachi Palace. Can you guys pull the plug on this? You guys do own the UFC, right? So Disney pulled some strings, and they had to let Dana White know, hey, pump the brakes, pump the brakes. This thing is serious. We understand you are going to take every health precaution possible, but still, this is not the time. And honestly, guys, after I thought about it, this is the best decision, because I was first under the impression of, okay, as long as we're testing every single person, testing the fighters, testing the staff, testing the refs, testing the judges, as long as we're testing everybody before and after the fights, then I didn't see the issue with it, because you don't need to have more than 10 people in the room. The issue I thought about afterward was, what happens if a fighter sustains a serious injury during the fight? I mean, this is the same thing with Fight Island. Dana White saying Fight Island will still proceed, but does Fight Island have its own hospital? You know, its own emergency room? And even if, let's say they were in Tachi Palace and they had to go to the nearest California hospital, how can you guarantee that a fighter doesn't get infected from the UFC to the hospital when they're being treated? Let's say you got a Joanna Jacek type beatdown where your face is lopsided, you got boobies on your head, you know what I'm saying? You got hematomas everywhere, your face is rearranged. Or what if you got a fucking crazy cut above your eye or something? You can't guarantee that a fighter doesn't contract the coronavirus when they go to the hospital after the fight. And that, see, there's little leaks like that could happen where it probably is irresponsible to go ahead and throw these fights. So I'm not surprised by this being canceled, as my boy Nate Diaz once said. Let's see. I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. Alright, yeah. I'm not surprised, man, by this being canceled. We already saw Rose Namajunas fell off the first Khabib, then Rose Namajunas. We started losing some of the biggest pieces of the card already, so this was always a possibility. And Rose Namajunas, it actually turns out she had a couple deaths in the family from COVID-19, according to reports. So you could definitely see how this virus has already affected the card in a major way. And honestly, if you go through with this event, as much as us fight fans might feel like we need it, as much as relief it would give some people, it's not worth the headache that it would cause. So Dana White has, though, promised that the UFC will be the first sport back up. Fight Island will proceed. Of course, that's even still sketchy. A private island where you're going to throw fights. Like, yeah, you could throw the fights, but you're going to have proper medical staff over there, medical equipment, quarantining, all type of stuff. So I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping Fight Island works. I was hoping this worked, but it might be irresponsible right now. So hopefully we'll be able to come up with a responsible way to proceed with sporting events and things like this in the near future. With that being said, UFC 249 is postponed. Dana White is saying Fight Island will proceed, though. With that being said, one last thing we got to talk about. Now Gaethje versus Ferguson's not happening. Does that mean we get Ferguson versus Khabib next? Or does that mean the UFC slides Conor McGregor in there against Khabib? There's been talks of, now Ferguson's not scheduled to face Khabib, and this could be a way for Conor McGregor to come and get his rematch and skip Tony Ferguson or skip Justin Gaethje. Neither one of them or fans would probably be happy about that, but hey, man, just things that could happen now that Khabib doesn't have a designated opponent. So we shall see. I'll keep you posted on that. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments and in the Discord. Link is in the description. I'm out.